Okay guys, we are here with Daniel BAEKKEGARD in Roth at the Challenge Roth Expo. So Daniel, first and foremost, thanks for taking the time today. How are you?
I'm feeling good. It's good to be back. Kind of overwhelming, but you know, it's just nice to be here and finally get some racing again.
What is overwhelming here?
I think it's just the whole Roth experience. That, you know, for one reason, that's why you want to come back. But at the same time, it's just massive with all the whole expo city and everything going on around us. It's massive.
Yeah, so we need no other expo actually in Germany. We have Roth, right?
Yeah, it is like the Roth experience. It is triathlon. So
yeah, great. So speaking of Roth, I mean, it's the middle of the year. You did some races. Can you take us a little bit through your season? Which races you already finished? How it went?
Yeah, so it is kind of strange to actually think that it's in the middle of the season. I did the T100 in Miami and T100 in Singapore. Didn't go completely according to plan. You know, one thing we have to learn as the whole T100 concept is kind of new is we also have to travel a lot, and what kind of format actually helps us the best to perform on race day. Unfortunately, I have a back that is not really cooperating well with long travels and stuff like that. So so it's been half a year dealing with injuries all the time and having to like overcome, basically overcome injuries and try to get the best out of it in the situations you are put in. So I think it was like an 8th place in Miami, and I did not finish in Singapore. That hurt a lot, both physically and mentally. So yeah, basically after that, it's just been about Roth.
Yeah, and I think you can calm a little bit because you already qualified for Kona. Can you take us to that race in Western Australia a little bit?
Yeah, so last year I decided to do a late season race, or basically like last year, I think it was the evening of the Roth race. I messaged Belinda Granger and said like I want to come back next year, because it's the most it's the best race I've ever done, not in terms of performance but in terms of experience in general. So obviously, to be able to race in Roth, I would have to qualify for Hawaii quite early or late last season. So decided to go to Australia, live life a little bit, and do an Ironman. Why not? And that didn't disappoint either. Got to like experience Noosa, also home of triathlon in the southern hemisphere, and it's basically it was just like a month of exploring, training, and having a good time, and ended up also winning in Western Australia. So it was just a good experience, and also obviously we were trying to like also learn a little bit about race tactics, the whole fueling topic, and basically also power-wise what I could hold up. So it was just a good experience and very learningful.
So we're talking about Noosa, and everybody who spent time there. I had the privilege to spend, I think, 3 months there a couple of years ago, many years actually. Actually, also the year I competed here. So maybe,
cool.
Yeah, that's a good sign, that's maybe for you. Yeah, I don't know. But what is so special about that place?
I think in general it's just it's kind of the same as I've moved to St. Moritz, and that's in some way I actually feel there's kind of a comparison. The whole area is just about outdoors. Like it's a culture of being outdoor and enjoying being active. If that's running, cycling, you know, triathlon, or if that's surfing or whatever. Hikes, doesn't matter. It's a whole other vibe than you get in most other places, at least the places I've been to. So it's a culture and a way of living.
Yes. Yeah.
That's all about sports.
Yeah, it is. And I think also the culture overall and being active outdoors. I think I can. Yeah, it's also from my perspective the right thing. Yeah, about doing
definitely.
Yeah. So speaking about Roth again, what are your plans for Sunday? I mean, I have to say that this video will be published tomorrow on Friday or Saturday.
Oh, then I have to be careful.
Yeah. So everybody will watch it.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, but maybe okay. I think you're a strong swimmer. We can say that. I think you were always in the front group every long distance competition you were in. Actually, I think you have a strong bike and also a really solid run. So, but how you will try to play your cards the best way?
It's difficult. You know, it's a tough. I think it's a tough race in general to kind of predict and also like set on kind of a race tactic, because we basically have 10 guys who can win. Maybe Magnus is probably the main favorite, but like just finishing on the podium is going to be a tough task, and it's obviously you have to like lay out your own tactics and so on. But here we actually have a race going on for 7.5 hours where like the podium can be decided in milliseconds if you react on attacks or if you.
So not in the end result, right? But
not in exactly. So I think it will be very tough to kind of gauge what like how to, especially on the bike, how to ride it, and then also pace it on the run. I think obviously Patrick is here in phenomenal form and will probably go for the sub 2:30 record. And there will be some other rookies, you know, maybe doing their first Ironman full distance event, and I know from experience that can be a tough first time. So I think in general I'm actually going to try and be more conservative than what I usually try to be, and have kind of that mentality of going as quick as possible from A to B, and not stress over small attacks or whatever. I think that's a pretty good way of doing it. And in general, I feel like I haven't done like the tactics completely yet, but I feel like what will be important here is to lay out a plan and then like ride accordingly to that. And then not be if that's good enough for a top 10 or a podium or a win, that would be good. But don't be disappointed because you decide to follow that plan. Because when you start to like question your own plan and tactics and so on, I feel like that's where you can f up your own overall result. And obviously it is kind of easy, you just have to go as quick as possible.
It's always the same, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah. And also like in a tight competition, I think it's really crucial to be maybe a little bit more conservative if you just can't blast the others away. Yeah,
and we you know, I actually saw it in Boston when I raced there. Like my plan was just to just go easy and not really like do a lot, and then you know I got carried away and I attacked on the bike after 60k because it was too boring and something had to happen. Luckily enough, I was fit enough to keep going, but the last 15k on the run, they were so long. Like I really had to like pick up myself and do well just to keep on going. And
we will be there for you on the last 15k. We will cheer for you.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. I need all the cheers I can get. That's for sure. So, yeah.
And you just told me before our interview that you just came down from altitude from St. Moritz. So you moved there, I think, a couple of weeks or months, is it already ago?
Yeah, I moved there in mid-May.
Oh, yeah.
So I've had some time to settle in and just basically get to know my new home and it's been amazing. Like I really enjoy it up there, and the nature, and again training with other people, because there are so many world-class athletes up there. I've been training with Carl Smith for the last couple of weeks, and it's been really good. You know, it's way easier to get stuff done when you are sharing the work, and yeah, hopefully hopefully it's just gonna last for a long time. I think.
Yeah. And I think if you need strong competition for track workouts, there's a lot, right? I mean,
yeah, it's
you may not be the fastest on the track.
That's true. Like we had the pleasure of witnessing Jakob Ingebrigtsen do a track session, and obviously there's basically no difference to what we actually do, but it's just way faster. Yeah. So it was quite impressive to see his whole his form and how he works. But as well, you also have to remember that even though he's a world champion and the best in the world basically in athletics, he's still a human being, and you know, it's just about. I think he's a prime example of just working hard over a long period of time and nailing those small details every day.
Or learning from the brothers, from the mistakes of the brothers.
Yeah, true. True. They made plenty. So. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you had a really solid season, I would say, if I am allowed to say that. Qualifying for Konas, you have check mark there. T100, I think you will have great results after Roth. Yeah. So we will cheer for you, but again, on Roth, or on Sunday in Roth. So we had just a question from the audience. What will be your pre-race meal? I think this is a typical age group athlete question. Everybody wants to know, what is your little secret before the race?
Basically, it's the same for every race I do, even though if it's long distance or short distance, or 70.3, that's not really short distance, but yeah, and actually also for longer bike rides, if I have a long threshold session or interval session to do, because I really like to kind of replicate it and teach the body how to.
That's actually a good
react.
tip.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't just rock up on race day and expect it to be there in the first try. So it's basically just a whole lot of rice and white bread, Nutella, jam.
Oh, that sounds great. Yeah.
That's as white as possible and as much sugar as possible.
And at least fiber.
I cut down on fiber the last 3 days going into the event. Because there's some stuff with visit to the toilet during the race, and
we don't have to go there.
Yeah, and weight as well, because you cut down a bit of fluid and stuff like that. So so that's basically a big one, and then the bike carb I do is 90 to 120 minutes before.
Also for the long distance, right?
Also for the long distance.
Yeah, great.
Before the race, and then I just keep snacking a bit on the solids and some gels here and there, and then it's when we hit the race strategy, it's more sometimes it depends a little bit, obviously, on the weather, how much you sweat and so on, how much you can actually take, but I've tried to work on 100 to 120 doing the bike session.
With drink mix or gels?
Only drink mix.
Okay.
To be honest, I like that the most for the bike, and then I'll switch to the gels for the run.
Yeah.
And that will be around kind of the same, 80 to 100. It also depends a little bit. You know, sometimes it's you don't have to set yourself 100% to one schedule. Sometimes, especially when the weather is as it is right now, you can actually take in more. And that's what you learn also by doing it in sessions. Sometimes I can do 150 and my body feels fine. So this estimate is only based by how my body have felt in the last couple of weeks, and And we've had like 3 sessions where we've really pumped up the carbohydrates.
To train the gut. Yeah.
Exactly.
We have a video actually for that.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty important. Like obviously you shouldn't go down to do like 60 or 40, but you can kind of, you know, sometimes you can do 120, sometimes you can do 150, and you have to be able to feel as well what's going on around you and how the weather is and your body is feeling.
And most important question, do you use Haribo for carbo loading?
I use a lot of Haribo.
Yeah.
A lot of Haribo.
Yeah, okay.
I actually, sometimes I also get shit from my fellow athletes on how much Haribo I actually eat, so I like it.
Okay, then Chris will like you as well. Maybe you can share Haribo. So Daniel, thanks a lot and all the best for Sunday. Again, we will cheer for you, especially on the last 15K. Hopefully when you lead the race, or you can catch up maybe. Yeah,
do our best.
Looking forward to for your race.
Thanks a lot, mate. A pleasure.